Welcome to the program. I'm your host, Neil Howard, here on Health Professional Radio. Thank you for joining us. We're going to have a conversation this morning with Vickie Siculiano, joining us here to talk about her journey living with progressive multiple sclerosis. Now, Progressive Multiple Sclerosis Day is March the 28th. I think the first one maybe was held in 2018. But on March the 28th, we observe Progressive Multiple Sclerosis Day, and Vickie's here to talk about her journey and MS. Thanks for joining us here on Health Professional Radio, Vickie.
Of course. Thanks, Neil.
I understand that you are a mother and a trainer as well.
Mm-hmm. I used to be a trainer before I knew anything about having MS in the 90s. And it was something that meant a lot to me because I had back problems quite a long time. And I didn't realize that it was secondary to my having MS. Like I had gait problems, but I never really knew why, right? So I always had back problems and I always knew I was in physical therapy. I'm like, I should learn more about this. So I became a certified trainer and I just started to help a lot of people in a group fitness program that I ran in the park in Brooklyn. I had a program and all of these women would join and there was just always something that I would have to kind of work around. So I, at that time became a personal trainer. So I would have more of an understanding of working with a person one-on-one. And I had gotten a specialty in post-rehab training. And I never really touched it over the years. I just used my exercise for myself. Then fast forward to being diagnosed with primary progressive MS, which was after the birth of my son. I knew I had MS before my son. I was diagnosed in 2007, so I knew I had the primary progressive later on a little bit after I progressed when I didn't have the protection of the pregnancy hormone that they're doing a lot of research on now. When a woman has MS, she doesn't really have symptoms through pregnancy. So I didn't have any issues. After you can either have a relapse or you can have an exacerbation of your symptoms, which is what I had with the progressive MS. And, it's here and I needed to know how to get better. And I was in physical therapy a lot and I just wanted to be strong for my son. And I was also encouraged to become a group leader over at a hospital that I get treatment at and I'm just very connected with. And I became a support group leader and I wanted to help people. So I had this group of people that needed my help, but I didn't really want to be speaking, lightly on exercise. So I went and got recertified and I did it. I still had the knowledge. The body didn't change after all these years. Muscles and bones still the same. Just now I had a more specialized need to use my exercise and I wanted to be safe and encourage others and help people.
You were diagnosed after your pregnancy because you became symptomatic after stopping the pregnancy hormones.
All right. So in 2007, right, I was diagnosed with secondary progressive MS, which is a different form. It's not as advanced as primary progressive, right? So my doctor, the doctor that I had at that time, my neurologist, different one that I have now, who's an MS specialist, and I highly recommend that anybody that has MS, make sure you have the care you need, a team, and someone who understands our condition. So he told me, he said, look, you can have a child. I really thought I never could. He said, you can have a child. I highly recommend you do it now because at the time I was 41 and I wasn't getting any younger. My eggs were certainly not getting any younger. And I was getting less of them, right, as I would get older. So I went through fertility treatment to IVF, right? So I knew that I had the issues to have a child. I had age working against me. I had to be off of my medication because I didn't want to have any, problems with the pregnancy, with my son having birth defects. So I was off of my medication for the almost year to have him. Then I was off my medication while I was pregnant with him, right? And now here I am, no medication, no pregnancy. And through pregnancy, estriol is the hormone that we produce that protects our body. So I had nothing. And that's when I really progressed.
This hormone that makes you asymptomatic after having been diagnosed simply, because of, well, not simply, but because of pregnancy. Now, is this something that is being extensively researched as a management tool?
Yeah, well, they're researching it. They were researching it before. I had gotten pregnant for years. The estriol and the protective effect of it on a pregnant woman. It's just a known thing that women. I didn't really have symptoms when I was pregnant with him. I had issues because he was pressing on my rib, but not to say any child wouldn't do that. That had nothing to do with my MS, right? So I just had a normal pregnancy. I had issues with walking because he was heavy and throwing my balance off.
You were a trainer before, and you said you were having some back problems, but did you attributed that to, the exercise and the constant movement, and then you began to work with people who were having some of the same problems as you. How do you navigate all of your different clients with their particular problems while dealing with your own problems via exercise?
Oh, absolutely. And here's the thing. I don't really use my personal training to get clients for a career. It's something that I wanted to use for two reasons. One, I wanted to make myself an authority in our world, in the world of anybody with MS, or really with a chronic condition, but primarily for MS for me. So I wanted to be able to speak on it as, somebody that had knowledge and was certified by the National Academy of Sports Medicine. It was pretty rigorous training on that. And I did it for that. And I also wanted to be able to use it for myself, right? And now I have my son, right? And also I wanted to make sure that any of the people in my MS support group meeting could have that added advantage of being able to have me as the authority to go to. And I would do like a stretch before our meeting that we would have once a month, right? So I would do a stretch and we would do some light exercise. And then also if I would have a post in social media, and I'm very, very active in social media, right? A voice in MS. Is
that mainly how you connect?
Hashtag MS Warrior. Yeah, it's how I connect with a lot of people. And I'm doing exercises. I'm showing people the right way to do things. Sometimes I'll show a rehabilitative exercise that I need to do, just not for the big stuff you see in your face, like work on my thighs or work on my back, whatever, but something, like working on my knee so I can climb the stairs right, what I have to do specifically. So there's a lot of, thought that went into getting this training because I really didn't want to do this for a career. I'm a full-time mom. I didn't really want to go out and get clients and start a whole new career again in that. I wanted it for a different reason.
Let's talk a bit about March the 28th every year as Progressive Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Day. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
And how are you involved in that?
Well, this past year was amazing. I was asked to be part of a Progressive MS Day video that was being shot. There were 3 other people that were in it, 3 other MS warriors, and I was pretty impressed with the people that were there, the other MS patients that I was connected with, and already, and I didn't know that I was kind of considered to be in a line with them, like I was in that echelon, right? I was considered equal with them because I was always looking up to them, and I have a voice, and I really didn't realize it was resonating with so many people. And then I was able to be in this video and tell my own story. And it just really connected with a lot of people that I didn't know. And using the hashtag Progressive MS Day, MS Awareness Day. Well, there's both. You can use Progressive MS Day, Progressive MS Awareness Day. Both of those will reach to an audience that you want. And when you're on Instagram, you can follow a hashtag, right? So you can get in your feed.
Where can we get some more information online and get some links to all of your social media and also about your services as a trainer?
Awesome. So, if you look me up on Instagram, that's pretty much where I started all. Like, right. So I started on Instagram at Vickie Sic NJ. It's Vickie, Vickie, Sic, SIC, and then NJ, my state, right? So it's Vickie Siculiano. You don't have to worry about how to spell Siculiano, just Vickie Sic. Just remember the E. So I have the link to my bio, and you can see all you want about what I do.
Vickie, thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning. Been a pleasure.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Neil. Take care.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Listen and download at SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com.